everybody. How are you all this evening? You all look like you were just having a great time. Has anybody ever sent a text that ended up really bad? I had open heart surgery. They cracked me. So they wired me back together, and my daughter took me home with her. And I'm sitting in the recliner, half doped up. And I said, my chest is a cracking and a popping. I wonder if that's normal. She says, I don't know. Ask Uncle Bud, he's a nurse. He lives in Alaska. So I was talking to the phone and I said, my chest is just a cracking and a popping. A cracking and a popping, is that normal? Send. Well, I didn't have my glasses on. Sent it back. I was trying to read it and I handed it to Jessica and I said, honey, what's he say? She says, he says you need to go back to the doctor because the last he heard you didn't have any testes. Reread your text message. It says, my testes are a cracking and a popping, a cracking and a popping. Is that normal? Oh boy. Yes, me talking to my text messages. I've had my daughter call and say at midnight, Mom, why's Earl in your bed? Who's Earl? I don't know. You sent me a text message and I hit it timed. So it didn't send for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So when it got to her, it was midnight and Earl was in my bed according to my text message. So I reread them. Sometimes we've got to keep the fun going, right? Well, everyone wants to talk about sex tonight. So I'm going to talk about my daughter and her sex life. And my sister.
Is that you?
See, that's my daughter right there. And she hates my sister. But my sister has diabetes. So she's not allowed candy. So at Christmas, I would order special candies in and tell her you can't have none of these because you're a diabetic. She's like, okay. So anyway, she come in, my daughter, and crawls in the bed and is talking to me and she says, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to taste all these chocolates to see which ones are good. She said, let me taste one. She did. Yuck, that tastes horrible. I said, okay. Hey, Juna, come here. She comes in, what? I said, do you want a piece of chocolate? She's like, yeah. So I gave it to her. She ate it. She said, oh, that's so good. I said, how was Gary's dick? She said, what do you mean? I said, Jessica just gave Gary head. And she took a bite of that candy. She said, oh my God. Went in for dinner the next night. I said, where's Jonah? Jessica said she refuses to come to the table. I said, well, won't she come to the kitchen table? She said, I told her me and Gary had sex on it. I was like, oh God. She all the time was teasing her. That kid didn't want to come out of her room. Oh, I don't know where she learned this shit. Wasn't from her mama. Well now, let me tell you about my marriage. I've been married 2 times. My first husband, that's who we talk about. Second one wasn't amusing at all. But the first one, on my wedding night, we took home the maid of honor and the best man. And well, my maid of honor asked me how to give head. And I grew up in the country, so I didn't know these things. I didn't learn about sex at all. So anyway, I run upstairs and I said, husband, because I can say that now. I said, I have a question. He says, what? I said, how you give head? He said, let me show you. I said, you ain't showing me nothing. You can tell me, and I'll let you know if it's a possibility. So he explains it to me. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. Nope. Okay. Yeah, well, I'll be back after a bit. So I run downstairs and I said, Jackie. Shh. Forgot I was supposed to change her name. Teresa Tam. Anyway, it's maid of honor if you just look it up. Anyway, so I took her to the bathroom and I said, okay, this is what you do. You gotta pay close attention. You might want to listen, honey, if you ain't done it in 13 years. Because this is how I taught my daughter. Okay? You take that penis in your hand and you roll the balls between your fingers and you lick that penis. Yeah, little boy, you pay attention. And you suck on that dick. And you lick that dick. And when they start going, and it gets hard, and you can look them in the eye, and they're getting ready to explode, you bite. And you bite as hard as you can. And they love it. She said, really? I said, yes. So at bedtime, I go upstairs to bed, and it is my wedding night. And my husband wants to play. And I say, roll over there and shut up. And he is trying to talk and cuddle, and I'm like, shh, I'm trying to listen. He said, are you sure you told her how to do it right? I said, we'll know in a minute. And about then, there was the most blood-curdling scream. He says, no, you didn't. I said, oh, yes, I did. And she did it right. I could not convince my daughter to do that. For nothing. Which is a good thing. She has a good husband now. So anyway, I am going to turn this back over to Chris, and while he comes up here, please remember to tip your